around 1980, the Department of Transportation had issued something called the Passive Restraint Rule, which required manufacturers to either put automatic seat belts or airbags in all passenger vehicles.
And the important part of that was that it had to provide this protection without the occupants of the cars doing anything. They didn't have to turn anything on, they didn't have to buckle in a seatbelt, and so it was called passive crash protection.
From the research that State Farm had done into field experience on airbags, it was determined that there was a high probability of life-saving benefits from this technology.
Unfortunately, a new Secretary of Transportation came in and in 1981 basically said, I don't think that airbags are that effective. I think that they're too costly. I'm going to get rid of this rule. And so we took it upon ourselves to sue the department, and we took the case all the way to the U.S. Supreme Court.
And that's another area where State Farm took the lead. Back in the 70s, when the airbag was developed, showing really promising impacts in terms of saving lives, State Farm stood up and really supported including that technology in vehicles.
The Supreme Court decided in 1983 in our favor, 9-0, and not just in State Farm's favor, but in favor of the public, in our view, because it was a tremendous life-saving decision.
After the 1983 decision, it was even more critical for us to understand how these technologies were performing in the field. So we continued to monitor field data. We pursued multiple research efforts to understand the performance of airbags in the field.
More recently, we've added side impact airbags that deploy in side crashes, T-bone type crashes, where up until about the year 2000 or so, there was no protection for your head in a side crash. There's been another step in terms of airbag technology deploying with different levels of force depending on who's sitting there, with different levels of force depending on the severity of the crash. So we've gone from the basic one-size-fit-all to a more tailored deployment of the airbags in modern cars today.
We've seen a reduction of 35,000 fatalities over about a 15-year period from 87 to, say, 2012 because of airbags. And in addition, if you look at the overall fatality rate, I mentioned it was 3.26 per 100 million miles traveled. That's now down to 1.14. So it's about a third of what it was. And when we look back to the late 70s, early 80s, what a huge difference.